Hey, Movie Club. I'm Fred Vogel, and today I will be giving you my review for Hugo. I'm gonna be honest. I was really excited when you brought this movie up because I haven't seen it in a long time, and I watched it and I just realized why I fell in love with it in the first place. And I'm getting way ahead of myself here, so let's talk about this. This is a movie that's based on uh, a book by Brian Selznick called The Invention of Hugo Cabret. And you know how most book to movie adaptations don't really measure up that well? This movie follows Hugo Cabret, the story of Hugo Cabret, almost to a T. It's perfect. It is in an instance sort of like a perfect adaptation of a book. Granted, they did add some stuff, like the station inspector, played by Sacha Baron Cohen, I'll get to him later, has a romance in this movie, which I didn't necessarily see coming. It wasn't in the book, but yeah, I liked it. It added to his character a lot more. It made him out to be more than just like this disgusting, despicable human being. But anyways, let's talk about Hugo. The reason I watched this movie for the first time is because it was nominated for like a shit ton of Oscars. It was up for Best Picture. I'm like, okay, this is weird. A Nickelodeon released kids film directed by Martin Scorsese up for Best Picture. Huh. And so I watched it, and it ended up being one of my favorite movies of that year. It was so good. It was so well shot. The colors were beautiful. The story was excellent. Obviously, I'm a big fan of the books, so of course I love the movie. Yeah, Martin Scorsese got some beautiful shots in here. He really knew how to work with CG and the 3D animation and stuff like that. It was very well done. And the cast is just great in this movie. I don't know the kid's name who plays Hugo, but he was perfect. I pictured Hugo looking exactly like that when I first saw this movie, or when I first heard that this was going to be made into a movie. Chloe Grace Moretz, Hit Girl from Kick-Ass, of course, you gotta put her in everything now. I mean, it's really funny. She was great in the movie. She added sort of a balance to Hugo's character. She was more reserved. She was well educated. Hugo lived in an attic of a train station. So, there's kind of different characters. Who else? Ray Winstone's in there for a little bit. He's okay. Sacha Baron Cohen, I mentioned him before. I love Sacha Baron Cohen. He's one of my favorite actors. He's a great dramatic actor. He's really, really funny. Of course, he does Borat and Bruno and all this other stuff. And I guess now it's just he's going to be in at least one Academy Award nominated movie every year. This year it was Les Miserables. Last year was Hugo. Both of them lost, but whatever. Jude Law was in it. Anyways, Sacha Baron Cohen, very, very funny in this movie. He does a lot of slapstick. I wondered how he was going to fit in with a kids film, more or less like a kids film that was live action, not animated, not Madagascar. I wondered how he was going to fit in, and he fit in beautifully. He was so funny as the station inspector, and of course, he falls in love with Emily Mortimer. She's cute. They were just really good together. But I think the biggest star of this movie, at least for me, was Ben Kingsley. And Ben Kingsley is going to bring it in every single role he has. But he was just fantastic in this movie. His storyline was so tragic. He was this really big silent movie star, and then it moved towards the talkies. The Academy Awards, they love movies that are really, really big into movies changing people's lives and how movies change through time. And it was just so cool to see Ben Kingsley go from this. It was tragic, actually. you saw him when he was younger, and he was like a big star. He made like tons of movies, and then like he just had this downfall as soon as the talkies came around. Like, it was just so tragic, and he gave a great performance. I honestly was surprised, shocked that he didn't get a Best Supporting Actor nomination. I mean, hell, they nominated this movie for everything else. But yeah, it was a very well shot movie. It was very beautiful. I loved looking at it. I have to say that my favorite scene in the whole movie, though, is the dream sequence that Hugo has, where he turns into the mechanical man that he's like obsessed about. Honestly, like, this, I wanted this movie to win Best Picture. The artist, it's okay, but like, as far as like telling the true story of like a true fall from grace with silent movies, I think this movie did it a lot better. I think the characters were a lot more fun. Did it deserve Best Picture? No, because that year Midnight in Paris came out. That was nominated for Best Picture. I think that should have won. I'm going to be honest. I love Midnight in Paris. But anyways, Hugo. It's a beautiful movie. Martin Scorsese really knows what he's doing. He brings it in every single movie he does, whether it's acting, writing, directing, whatever he does. It's excellent. And really, you should watch this movie. If you haven't watched it already, don't get turned away because it's a kid's film. Because some kids' films are a lot smarter than you give them credit for. I mean, look at Pixar, look at DreamWorks Animation. Anyways, that's my review for Hugo. Thanks, Movie Club, for recommending this movie. I loved it. Please keep recommending movies that I like, okay? Anyways, bye.